All right. Think we are on. This is awesome. All right. So, welcome to the Funnel Your Business Show. I am your host, Roxanne Oates, your funnel strategist. So, today we are going to talk about 4 reasons why your offer isn't selling. So, now before I get into that, if you're a business coach who wants to build your empire, like filling up your discovery calls or getting your courses filled out too and purchased, then let's chat. Let's have a talk. Chatwithroxanne.com. All right, so we are about to get into it. We're about to get started into the 4 reasons that we have. All right, so reason number one, well, sorry, even before we dive in. So this happens to all of us, right? Like, very rarely anybody that tells you they always get all their offers correct and perfect and out the park the first time is lying. Like the big gurus, people have been experts, people have been doing this for a while. You have some stage in your business where you put an offer on there and it doesn't sell. It happens to all of us. Okay. So definitely don't feel alone if this is a problem that you are having. My intention in this video is to help you overcome that, to help you avoid that and look for these 4 areas to see if that can help improve your offer being purchased, okay, or being sold. So the first reason is you weren't speaking your customer's language. I'm going to use myself as an example. I am very techie. So a lot of times when I'm talking to clients about the tech work that needs to be put together, the funnel building, the funnel mapping, the funnel planning, it goes over their heads. They're like, uh, okay, great. I just trust you. But what they really want to know is how can I get their discovery calls filled? What's the plan? How are we going to do that? Right? I have a course that I need to sell. How are we going to get that filled up? What are we going to do about that? That's the language they can relate to. If I talk about we use ClickFunnels and a domain or a subdomain and all this other stuff, they're going to, what? Okay, great, just whatever, but what's the end result, right? So make sure that you're speaking your customer's language. Make sure that you are able to just speak to them in a way that they can understand and it feels natural. Because at the end of the day, right, all marketing should be able to be like, wow, this person can relate to me, right? They're relatable, they understand me, and they get me. Okay. So this actually also leads to point number 2, which is your offer didn't solve their problem. It didn't solve their problem. Oop, let me go back. Your offer didn't solve their problem. Um, they have a problem that they know exactly what it is, and the language that you're using in your copy or in your offer, it wasn't enough to make them feel like this person gets me, they understand me, right? They know the problem I'm having now, they know my goals, right? And my desires and my wants, and they're not really telling me how they're going to help me get there, right? Any of the coaching programs, mastermind programs, or courses or anything that I've ever purchased for myself has always been because I felt like they could relate to me. They know my struggles, they know what I'm trying to avoid, and they know where I want to be, and they're trying to help me bridge that gap. Okay, so make sure that you really understand what their problem is so you can show them you can solve it, right? And help them to bridge that gap. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is your offer wasn't priced properly, and you really just have to know your audience in order to know what their pricing structure, right? So if you have something that you're trying to sell and it's, let's say, a very high ticket offer, you can't go to people like maybe startups or, that type of demographic and market for um, a high ticket offer. It's not going to work. Oop, for a high ticket offer because it's not going to work. They're not going to be able to pay for it, even if your copy is awesome and your graphics and it's beautiful. They can't buy it because at the end of the day, they're not going to take food out of their family's mouth or whatever their situation is to invest in this. It's not going to happen. They're going to make sure their family's okay, and then whatever's left, even if they have to borrow, whatever the case is, but their foundation, whatever their foundation is, has to be taken care of first before they can go outside of that. So just make sure you're considering that when you're pricing your offers, right? Making sure that it's the right price for them. And even for something else too, this can even go on the reverse, right? If I have a high end client that's making like $1 million a year in revenue, they're probably not going to be interested in a little simple course, right? They're probably going to want more hands on attention because every different stage in business has a different problem, right? There's different problems in every stages. So make sure you are able to clearly identify what stage of business your audience is, where they're at, so you can make sure your pricing reflects that. Okay. All right. And the fourth one is you didn't understand your audience or you chose the wrong one. And that happens. There's a lot of times we think we know what our audience wants, right? And we create something and we put it out there, and crickets, they're not really interested in that. That's not anything that's going to benefit them and that particular audience, right? So that's why for me personally, when I'm starting to, build a funnel for a client or anything like that, I really want to make sure that we understand their audience. I take time to dig into who their customers currently are, who their, all of that stuff, because I really want to make sure that when I'm building a funnel or anything like that, we're speaking the language, right? We just understand the audience because, and a lot of times, really the simplest way is to ask them, what do they want? That really is the simplest way to really find out who your audience is and what do they want, because then you can just build everything off from that. Okay. So, and another part is, research is just really key. Research is really key to your audience. Don't just go out there and be like, oh, I know my audience and I'm just going to go out there unless you really had a chance to talk to them and interact with them, right? Don't just assume that you know. And this applies to any stage of business. That doesn't matter how long you've been in business because your audience change and they evolve just like everyone does, right? People, we change and evolve. Our audience is going to have this, they're going to do the same thing as well. So it's always important to find out and ask from the people themselves, what do they really want? Okay. All right. So that is it. That's all that I have for today. Um, again, my intention in this is to make it so that you can know how to avoid it, right? If your offers are not selling, you have now 4 areas that you can look into so you can improve that. Yeah, so if you're a business coach, and you need help building your empire, filling your discovery calls, getting your courses sold, like let's chat. You have nothing to lose. Chatwithroxanne.com. Take care.